What's going on, everybody? Trivels in here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Ranch. Today we got another bourbon review. Penelope back on the stage, baby. The brand new 9-year age-dated barrel strength private select from Penelope. I've been doing some damage to it. And I don't care. It's good. Blend of straight bourbon whiskeys. It is a 4-grain, which means that a total of 4 grains went into the mash bill. The more you know. Corn, rye, wheat, and malted barley. It's 109 proof. If you go to the back of the bottle, breaks that down. 85% corn. That's a lot of corn. Rye, 10%. Wheat, 2%. And barley malt, 3%. So very, very high on the corn. Distilled in Indiana and Kentucky. This batch is aged more than 9 years in charred new American oak barrels. We hope everyone enjoys this unique offering as much as we do. Now, that's very interesting because prior to this, Penelope was pretty much all MGP stuff, all Indiana. And then they dropped this guy and they got a Kentucky in there. 9-year Kentucky blend. I've heard from some people that 9-year Kentucky is coming from Lux Row. I couldn't tell you. Do a Google search. Maybe it's out there, maybe it's not. But that is what I've heard. To me, it doesn't matter. What matters is how it smells, how it tastes, and if you should go and buy it. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's just get right into this. See if you should go and buy one. This was $64 before tax, which is kind of crazy because that's the price of all their other stuff, you know? And it's still barrel proof. It's age dated 9 years, and it's got some Kentucky blended in there too. So I had to get it. I would have gotten it no matter what, but that sounds like a great package. So let's smell it. How is this sucker? So on the nose, the first thing I'm gonna say, this has minimum 9-year Kentucky and 9-year Indiana to get that age statement, at least minimum. And I try to pick apart the blend. So if it says it's coming from Indiana, Kentucky, if it's coming from Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, I try and see which part of the flavors are coming from said states. And right off the front of this nose is I'm getting heavy vanilla, and I'm getting heavy, like, I wouldn't say nutty, but I'm definitely getting barrel. I'm getting notes of, for a lack of better explanation, Kentucky. I mean, seriously, am I the only one who, if you just put a Kentucky bourbon up next to MGP, Washington State, you can tell they come from different regions. It's just, they have their own little DNA. It's weird. And you can tell, it's like, Kentucky's in there? Yes. I can tell that is not just MGP. There is that very vanilla ice cream thing that I get from MGP, and I love it. Kind of what I get on the Penelope regular barrel strength. But then there's this slightly nutty, but oaky, little bit more of the darker, burnt more side of things that I get from Kentucky bourbon. Let me just put it this way, because I feel like I'm not making sense. I don't make sense to myself half the time. If you compared the nose of this to a regular Penelope barrel strength or any MGP barrel strength, to me they're very sweet, and they're not as dense, they're not as dark, they're not as barrely, oaky, charry. Okay, it's a lot more of just this vanilla cream type of thing without the burn. It's like creme brulee and you didn't torch the thing. This has that depth. I'm smelling the charred barrel, okay? So let's just taste it, because that's what we're all here for. They knocked this out of the park, man. They really did. That blend, again, whatever Kentucky is in there, why did I say Kentucky like that? Kentucky? Whatever Kentucky is in this blend really rounds out, I think, the MGP component. And I know MGP's got some really great aged stuff. And I bet you if you just put a 9-year-old MGP in there, it would have done just fine and people would have loved it. I think this Kentucky essence to it, though, really starts adding some different flavors that, quite honestly, like, this thing is just a little killer pour. This is very upfront on the palate, is very vanilla cream. Okay, I'm thinking homemade vanilla ice cream. Tons of it. Love it. But then it morphs into this darker, so now the vanilla ice cream's back in my bowl, but now we're putting some chocolate on there. Maybe we're shaving some nuts. Shaving some nuts. My notes suck. You're sprinkling some nut pieces onto the ice cream. You're adding some depth. You're adding some more caramels into there, and it's just fantastic. On the back of the palate for sure is where all that sweetness, it's like sweetness, but then mild char, burnt marshmallow area, and then in the back of the palate is definitely where it's like, hey, here's some barrel char, here's some more of this depth that sitting in a barrel for 9 years will bring you. And honestly, it's quite good of a roller coaster of very sweet up front, and it's a nice transition all the way back. This to me is just quintessential delicious $60 barrel proof bourbon that you don't have to, spend an arm and a leg to get some complex flavors, but you also want to keep drinking the dang thing. I don't want to have to sit here and pick this apart. It's everything that is bringing me is complex enough to make me feel like I'm drinking something very nice, but not so much so that I'm like, I'm done drinking this. No, this is something I want to go bring outside, build a fire and drink this. I just want to bring this and drink it after dessert. I want to just drink this all the dang time. So it gets my recommend. Abso-freaking-lutely gets my recommend. Probably one of my favorite releases from them. Maybe aside from some of the certain picks or whatever that are out there, but those are all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to compare this to the picks as a whole because they're so different from each other. I think if I had to pick one right now, this is probably my favorite Penelope. It's just everything I want, and especially it's getting colder, man, and this makes me feel good, and that's all that matters. So there we have it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys can get one of these. I think it's a really good bottle to add to your arsenal. I think you'll really like it, especially if you're a Penelope fan. I think this is a nice step away from kind of their other stuff. It's pretty different from all their other stuff. A little more into the territory that we all are familiar with. Bringing the Kentucky in, it's a little more familiar. Give it a try. If you see it, leave a comment down below what you think of it so people know they don't have to just listen to me because I'm an idiot. Leave a like, subscribe, check out the links, check out the Patreon page. I love you guys. I'm Trev Wilson, and I just sabotaged your Walmart shopping cart. I'll see you guys in the next video.